I got next. Warning: the following podcast contains language that some viewers and listeners may find disturbing. Listener discretion is advised. Good day and welcome back once again as we are live and direct with another podcast episode of I Got Next, the Street Fighter community podcast discussion hosted by myself, Shadow Ace, aka Modern Ace, and Sir Retro, aka the Mayor of Macon, holding it down production. And this is season 4, episode 14. We are right there near the finish line for season 4 here. And on the show today, we had a special guest with us for this one. But before we introduce them, we want to remind you guys, as always, if you missed out on a previous episode, please feel free to check them out on Reboot Retrocade Gaming's YouTube channel. Then select the tab that's labeled podcast for that season 1 through 4 playlist with full episodes all available on YouTube. Over 50 hours worth of different interviews for your listening pleasure, whether you're cleaning up the house or cleaning up somebody in Street Fighter. Throw the podcast on real quick and enjoy the vibes. And with that being said, my name is Shadow Ace, one half of the Street Fighter I Got Next team who collaborates and moderates these discussions. I've been a competitive Street Fighter player for over 15 years, starting all the way back to Vanilla Street Fighter 4 as my introduction into the FGC community. Played on First Day and 4, Ed in Street Fighter 5, and now Jamie in Street Fighter 6. I am a commentator, TO, player, podcaster, a man of many hats. And speaking of someone who wears just as many, is Sir Retro. Sir Retro, introduce yourself to the good people.
What's going on, everyone? Oh, move this. Mike. My mic's been knocked down. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sir Retro, the other half of the podcast series. Thanks with Shadow Ace. And I did not look at the chat at the moment, but yeah, yes, I'm the other half. I'm TO of the Middle Georgia area for Reboot, Retrocade Gaming, and for the esports organization Spike Out Nerds, as well as being coach, commentator, competitor. Been doing that for many years in the double digits at this point. Of course, yeah, that's pretty much me wearing many hats, as Shadow Ace may have said. But of course, in this today's episode, and you see the graphic, very different and kind of resembles a very popular series in a sense. Just paying homage to that. But of course, like they said, the truth is out there. But I want to say that the truth is that we out here with this new guest that has a lot in their books and they have a lot to say. And they say the truth. Can we handle the truth though? That's the question. That's pretty much the theme for today's episode at this point. So hope you enjoyed that intro because that was fun. But yes, we are going to present our special guest who has a lot to say for tonight. Who is our special guest, by the way, Shadow Ace?
Oh man, we definitely do have a special one for you guys here. And just to remind everybody, we do host this podcast series called I Got Next. And for today's episode, we have the enigma. When you drop a mysterious message and refuse to elaborate what that message, what the message means, what I'm saying, you earned the official enigma nickname. Okay, so this person is called the Enigma, Little Kim's number one fan, Nukendo. How are you doing today?
Dang, instead of the I Got Next podcast, it really should be We Got Jokes podcast because we're going in full force today.
Oh yeah, man. Look, we've been this has been lingering in the background for quite some time, and I'm very excited to, for you to be on this episode and talk with us. Here, we've had your cohort, partner in crime, aka Good Bad Brother, on the show a few weeks ago. So the fact that you agreed to come talk with us, we definitely do appreciate you for taking your time in order to do that. But yeah, we got a couple of things to talk about. But yeah, who is Nukendo? Let the world know who Nukendo is. The Enigma.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to take 3 hours of you guys' time. That was actually good bads. I mean, I can't believe he took 3 hours talking about he didn't want to be famous. So I'll just cut it short. Who I am is a guy from Texas. I reside in Texas, and I love Street Fighter, and I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. So, going back to the arcade scene, I used to play with my brothers all the time with Street Fighter 2, and part of the reason why I love Street Fighter is because it was just so. It was just such a great fighting game when it first came out, and seeing how excited my older brothers used to get, it used to just make me even more excited because that's just how it was represented to me. And part of my love for Street Fighters is the love that I have for my older brothers. One of them is not currently with us, today, but I mean, yeah, it really just stems from my older brothers just playing all those years ago. And, it just, ever since then, it just stuck. It's a game that's just stuck with me.
And a big part of your life, and
It's a big
I
part
think
of
that.
big part of my
Mhm.
upbringing, a big part of the arcade scene. I remember I used to just love just going and getting them tokens so they can actually continue to play. And I used to just watch them play. And we used to go to an arcade. It was an arcade gallery. It was called Fun World, and
Mhm.
it was just so. It was just such a memory that's just in the back of my mind that I really can just remember the smell of the place, just how excited people were when they actually played Street Fighter 2. And it's just ever since then, it's just Street Fighter's been a series with me that's just stuck with me for decades.
Mm. Wow, memories and memories. For sure that I'm very glad that you've had that experience in regards to that, and that the series is that important, because sometimes a lot of people can just look at it and say, oh well, this is it's just a video game. But I feel like in situations like it goes beyond that. Like there's a deeper connection that bonds, that creates that bond that puts us all together into like this web, right? Especially with everything that goes on outside of the world
Hmm.
too as well. We have this sort of safety net to kind of come in and play, socialize, and talk with all people with all different kinds, coming from all different backgrounds, different walks of life, but we all share this one universal hobby, right? And that's just pressing some buttons. And with those memories over time, of course, they'll just add into the collection. So I mean, I'm glad that this game resonates there for you in regards to that. Um, and you mentioned that do your brothers currently still play, or is it just you?
I play. I don't know if my older brother plays, but I'm pretty sure he still does. But every time that we get together, because my sister, she has an arcade cabinet, and the first game he goes to is Street Fighter 2, and he'll tell me like, "Oh, I remember playing back in the day. When this and this and that. It's so different now." And I'm like, "Well, you should give the other games a chance." He's like, "Nah, I love Street Fighter." He's a real Street Fighter 2 fanatic, and he's just into those old school type of arcade games. And he plays, and he'll tell me like certain moves and things like that, and I'm just like, wow, he really knew what it was like to actually play in the arcade scene. And he taught me everything that I knew about every other character. Of course, my character has always been Chun Li, and I have a deeper meaning for why I love Chun Li so much, and I can probably get into it if you guys want to hear it.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, when I was a little kid, I had to wear leg braces. So I was real pigeon toed, and pigeon toed, your feet kind of like go inward a little bit. They're kind of
Mhm,
like I guess like they go inward. So I had to wear
mhm,
leg braces, and I remember like when I was 5 years old, how embarrassing it was. Like I couldn't even walk right and things like that. And I used to get made fun of a lot because it's like people would call me Forrest Gump, things like that. And it bothered me for so much. So when I started playing, when I started playing those the actual like arcade game like Street Fighter 2, Chun Li was always the first one that I went to because she was so strong, her kicks and things like that, and she was able to use her legs. And it kind of stemmed from that why I liked her so much. But I also like the other characters. It's not just Chun. I used to just love the whole series. But
mhm,
Chun Li was always the one that I went for because of how strong she was, and I wanted to actually be strong like that, to have strong legs. Sure enough, I mean, I only wore
mhm.
those things for 2 years, and then my legs straightened out. So ever since then, it was just kind of like, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's just basically it.
Nice.
Why the deeper meaning of why I actually love Chun Li so much. And, not a lot of people know about that, but I mean, I'm ready to just put that out there. Yeah, I mean, I was real pigeon toed when I was a kid. Now I have strong legs. I've never broken my legs before. I walk straight. Sometimes I lose my balance, but it's nothing, like disabling, I guess you can say.
Mhm,
So, but yeah, but I mean, that's just my love for Chun that I have. And I just love her as a character, and I just hope that
mhm.
Capcom buffs her in the next season.
Ton bucks, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you that the fact that that character it's actually connected to you in real life is amazing, man. I feel like those types of stories right there, those hold a little bit of more special weight to them for sure, since that was like your inspiration to help you on your recovery, for your legs there, and playing Chun Li. That's kind of like her whole thing, right? Being the strongest woman in the world and like kicking and stuff. That's kind of what a lot of people associate her with it is just doing lightning legs, and the fact that she has the strong legs and you kind of relate to that is kind of that's very inspiring. But so what so then what other games outside of did you have any other games outside of Street Fighter that you kind of had that connection to, or was this was just Street Fighter for you?
Well, growing up, it was just for Street Fighter. Now, I love Mortal Kombat too. I love like I really do love Mortal Kombat, just not the recent ones lately because they don't really feel like Mortal Kombat. It just feels kind of like they kind of lost direction a little bit of the franchise, just a little tiny bit. But I think that
Mhm,
I think that they'll get back to it. Hopefully, I mean, they just really just got to go back to the basics when it comes to those type of things. But no, I'm a fan of a lot of games. I'm just a whole gamer
mhm,
at heart. I love third person shooters. I love 2D side scrollers. I play anything and everything that has a great story. Anything that's visually entertaining. I just love my love for video games is not just one franchise, it's different genres. I mean, if I could tell
mhm.
you the list, I mean, that's a whole lot of lists that I have to go through. And part of the reason why like I talk about the video games is because that's basically all I had when I was growing up. I had a I had a like not a rough upbringing, but I had an upbringing where it's just like I got lost in the video game world. I love to get lost in a game that's so captivating that it makes me feel it makes me feel alive basically. So that's why like I said, I love Street Fighter. I love all the other games connected to it, even if it's crossovers or any game that's actually entertaining. Yeah, I just get lost in it. And I'm a fan of a lot of genres. I mean, a lot. If I can if I can give you a list, I mean, I have so many paintings, and I have so many franchises on my wall because I'm a collector too. So I collect figurines, I collect posters, wall scrolls. I mean, I'm right now. I'm just looking at my whole Mass Effect collection and my whole Assassin's Creed collection. So I have a lot of genres that I love.
Okay, so you mentioned paintings, right? So like you like I guess you're a fan of art then. Is that correct? Do you do any of your own art or
Yeah, I do some of my own art, and I know that I had sent you guys some stuff, but yeah, I do my own art, like up with the computer and everything like that. When I create art on Blender, and I use After Effects, and I created artwork for Untamed Gaming, and it features Jaco Man, it features Good Bad, it features Daniel and myself, something that was just I created and I envisioned, and something that I wanted to do for a long time in the community, because this community actually means a lot to me. It's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to actually do this podcast, was just basically to put the truth out there also.
the truth? I feel like the truth is I feel like the truth should be one of the last things we could touch on because I feel like that could take some time.
Okay.
And I'm very eager to hear this truth that you will reveal. But I think you did mention about retro sin, and you said some of your collection, your
Yeah,
pieces to retro. Do we have? I think we have that one image there. Do we have the others there? Retro.
there's a group one, and then there's a single one of myself, which is me, my real face, and it's a character that I wanted to create, to just try to just create something new, and maybe hopefully it gets put in Street Fighter, because I would love to have a water character, in Street Fighter. Just, it doesn't have to be water based attacks, things like that, but just a water character that could actually just look cool in Street Fighter. We've never had a water element character in Street Fighter, and I just woke up one day and I was like, you know what, I want to create something cool, and I actually did. I actually put my real face on there, so that's actually my real face, and yeah, I don't know, I just went with it. So just little things like that I created within the community, like for them to see, and some like it, some don't. Some, I got I got not bullied but or harassed, but I did get a harassment once on Twitter. It's probably the reason why I acted, a little bit strange the other time with Mosh Pit. That whole thing stemmed from somebody harassing me, because I was actually sending developers my artwork, things like that. So yeah, that's probably the whole situation with that had happened. It was just a little off character for me when I was kind of going off in the Discord chat.
Okay. And so this is the image of that character you created here, and you said it used your face.
Yes,
Uh, okay.
that's my real face. That's what I look like in real life. And I just went with it. I was just like, you know what, I can't create anything else, and yeah, so I was just like, you know what, let's do it. So I actually got an app, an AI app, to actually create images of my face. So it is kind of AI generated a little bit, but I mean, it's still my real face. That's still what I look like in real life. So I mean, it's just a little bit of like touchy glow ups, but yeah. And then I just with the other one, the group one, I just decided, you know what, I actually want to create something with a group within the community that's, I feel, is actually worthy, and the people that came to mind were Good Bad, were Daniel, and were Jaco Man, and I just created this whole group of them,
Okay.
and I actually
And
gave
then
them
what?
a little bit, yeah, I actually gave them a little bit of elements too, that I felt like kind of represented them as individuals also.
Okay. So I feel like you do have like an eye for the character design, and definitely it is interesting to see those designs too, as well for those characters. Because I feel like maybe if those images and the right if the right eye see them, then it's definitely something possible that can come from that. And you said that you are right. We didn't have a straight up water user here per se. I guess that fights with water attacks. I mean, we had
Well,
Colleen with ice, but
yeah.
with like just straight water. Like, what you give us a little bit more on what the character would play like?
So I actually kind of like when I was just researching, to see if they ever had a water character. I literally the first person I went to was, well, I would want him to fight like Gen. I would want him to be his apprentice. Why not? So I started looking up. Well, who's Gen's apprentice? Like, who is he? Turns out that there was no actually a good design for Gen's apprentice. Taka Nakayama actually had a idea of what Gen's apprentice would look like. He wanted it to be a girl, but then it actually came out to be where it was like the design actually shifted over to Manat, and so that's how we got Manat in Street Fighter Five. So, he scratched that and he never did anything with it. So I was like, you know what? Why not, make a water character that could be Gen's apprentice? I mean, Gen is an assassin, but he's also kind of like a little bit pure. Why not teach him his teachings and be a pure student of his teachings? So that's kind of like where I kind of went with it with the waters aspect. I was like, it would be so cool. Why would it not fit the universe? That's what I was asking myself. It would honestly really, really fit. And he could not be a Shoto, but he could be like have fast hand movements, have circle movements, kind of like the way Gato plays in Fatal Fury right now. That's kind of like how I would kind of want him to be, like a stance, real, fast character, real into Paigua Quan, Baji Quan, those type of martial arts. That's kind of how I would want him to fight. So yeah, and I just went with it. I created the idea. I mean, it's out there, and I did tag Taka, to it. Got a little harassment online from trolls, but I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's cool. Not everybody's gonna like it, which is fine. But for me, I actually like the lore that I would try to actually build within that character. I mean, even though it's like my real face, I mean, I really just don't care. They could actually change it, use it. They could do whatever they want with it, just as long as they see it. And that's probably what I would want the most, is just for them to acknowledge and see it like, hey, you have artists out here that are actually trying to create something within y'all's universe.
Okay. I definitely see that creative aspect of that particular character. You even had a good story for him, and then with the scrap designs of like several Street Fighter type of characters that got lost over time and then eventually repurposed for later games or later down the seasons. I could probably name a few there that didn't that were early stages of early concept stages, but then like in a later game they just based the character from that and kind of redesigned them a little bit. But you can see where the inspiration for the character comes across. So I mean, it's possible. They could have maybe, if not a direct character, maybe an accessory of the character, look at on the design and then decide, hey, maybe we could put this in a battle pass, and then you might see your item in a battle pass.
Yeah, I mean, it would be,
So
honestly, it would be a dream come true. It really, really would. I mean, it really would just, even if it's just
mhm,
not even like my face, even if it's just the character itself, I think it would just be super, super cool to have something different. Because Street Fighter
mhm,
6 right now, it's all about the new age. It's all about the new people that came in. And it's great. I mean, I love the designs. A lot of people don't really like the designs, but I can say the designs are very well done. I mean, I can even say, even though I'm not a big Manon fan, I could say that part of the inspiration with my artwork is because of Manon, because whenever she does her spin, her grab, she throws out like little feathers, and you can see in the background the animations. Well, I kind of like that. I would like that for my character, where if my character did a move, some fish scales or some type of scaly type of thing would be, surrounded by him with water. I mean, I just think that
mhm.
that those little details make up a lot for the game, and I see those details. So part of the inspiration for the character, I hate to say it, but Manon was part of it.
Okay. All right, and I could definitely resonate and see that, like especially if you want something like unique, but it's off of your own creation. There, what was the character's name? Like, what did you name the character?
So I had so many names for him, and I honestly gave him my real name at first, and I was like, you know what, this is not working. So I started looking up Japanese names, and I started to just think, and I was like, you know what, like I need something that's actually cool, like or something that's short, something that sticks. So I finally, months afterwards, I finally came up with a name, and I started reading up on it. So I was just like, you know what? His name has to be Ren. Ren, Ren. And it's just something that I just looked over, something that I was just like, you know what Japanese name means something pure, something, something pure, something great. And then they just said Ren, and I was like, you know what? Ren it is. So that's who my character is. My character, his name is Ren.
Yan and Rin. Okay. Yan and Yang. Okay. All right. See the comparison, the connection between that. Yan and Rin. Yan and Rin. Okay. All right. And he has a stance character, kind of plays similar to Otto, has a water element to them. Do they have a projectile? Or is it how, or they just envelop their fist in like water?
I would say just all fist hand movements. I never really thought about a
Okay.
projectile, but you know what? Why not? Let's if they I never really thought of I never really thought of it. So but yeah, I mean I wouldn't be, not opposed to it. I would be actually for it. Yeah.
And then he has a stance change to go to another fighting style.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see specialists kind of looking at that character and thinking, oh yeah, this character's pretty interesting. But of course, you'd have to design the move set and
Oh
see where
yeah,
it goes from
I would
there.
have to go
Yeah,
into detail about it, and then
yeah.
if I had a choice of how he would play, like I said, he would play like Gato from Fatal Fury right now, or he would play
Mhm,
like Lei Wulong from Street Fighter X Tekken. Different stances, Panther stance, Crane stance, things like that. Things that
mhm,
actually like have meaning to it. A lot of different animals, a lot of different like animal stances.
mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, I that's kind of how I envisioned him to be.
All right. Well, then I think I definitely think you've gotten some support in regards to that, where people may have liked the design of the character, and then some people may not have liked the design of the character. And I feel like that comes with territory, sure, especially when you're trying to promote your original content, uh, too, as well. Like anything in regards to like fan designs. I don't think I've ever seen a situation where something was like universally liked by everybody. There was always someone in the background plotting and scheming, or just like saying, "Oh, this is ass," you know. Um, but the fact that you have people that do support it and say that, yeah, I kind of like this design and it'll be interesting, it'll be something different. I think that's a good sign. As long as you got your supporters and people that are, willing to get you back on that, then I think you'll be in a good spot. And I hope it motivates you to keep going, to keep drawing, keep
Yeah,
going, keep coming up with concepts for more characters, if you can. But all right, Ren, yeah, that's the name I could probably remember there. It's simple, 3 letters.
three
Three
letters, three
letters.
letters.
There you
Not
go.
not so different from Gin.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, you know, good stuff on there for those designs. Retro showed us some of that art there that you did too, as well. So do you order from any like do you order from Display? Like any of
Display.
their art from there?
Display. No, I actually don't. Whenever I
Okay.
order like different like wall scrolls, and like if I have like art on my wall or anything like that,
Hmm.
it's always directly through like the website. Like I have a lot of like Assassin's Creed wall art. I have a lot of Mass Effect wall art. I have Street Fighter wall art. I even have the Vega painting of it's a figurine that I have. It's the one of these Street Fighter 4 Vega ones, and I have that on my wall. I have a bunch of stuff. I have the Nakali artwork on my wall too. I actually really do love Nakali. I think I think honestly, I really think that I really think Nakali should be in Street Fighter 6. I really, really do. I think he deserves a second chance with his little story arc. So he definitely has a place on my wall. So does Vega. But I have a whole Chun Li wall too, and I have one of the Tsume Chun Li figurines on my wall also. I think it's Tsume. I think it's called. But yeah, I mean, I just I dedicated a wall specifically for Chun Li.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, I know there has to be a Pacific Chun Li section on your wall there. Like she has her own section. Everybody else could just, get to the side somewhere and just make sure that this Chun Li area is specific. Yeah, there you go.
She really, really does. Honestly, I gave her the big centerpiece on my wall, and then all the figurines and all the artwork of her from past, artists that have done her. I have like at least 6 of them surrounding her. So like, yeah, I mean, I just dedicated one wall to Chun Li, and actually, I'm really picky with figurines. Also, it just really just depends on the statues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do love the Tsume Street Fighter 4 one. I actually paid $250 for that one, so that one actually was really, really pricey. But I'm glad I got it because it's a cool piece.
Okay, what's your most expensive piece that you have in your
Let me
collection?
see. My expensive piece, probably the Vega one. Yeah, the Vega one where he's has the claw and his mask. I think that one cost me like 400.
Oh wow! Okay.
It cost me a lot. Actually, you know what? I got it on sale because the eBay had a sale. So I think I paid like 375 for it. But yeah, that's my most expensive one. And I'm actually staring at it right now. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually really like it. I just got to be careful with the hand because if I mess up the hand, the claw will break. These statues sometimes, if you especially with hard tile, if one of them falls, forget it. They're gonna break.
Yeah, I know the maintenance and upkeep on those, like over time, like I don't know how you will go about like cleaning them,
Yeah.
like maybe because of dust and debris that could get onto the figurine. Like maybe there's a special way you have to clean those figures off.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have an air duster, and I dust them like maybe like twice, every month, just so they don't get dust or anything like that on them. But
okay.
yeah, I mean,
So
I have a, I don't, I have a bunch of other figurines too. I actually have like a whole collection on my wall. Actually, my wall is actually pretty cool. I mean, if the community ever wanted to see my, my room, I guess, they'd probably appreciate it because I am a collector, but I'm very specific about what I collect.
mhm. Yeah, you want the quality to represent. You want something that that is you will appreciate over time.
Yeah,
Something that can last.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I've had some bad pieces here on my end where kind of the paint kind of just for some reason kind of melted off one day, and I'm like, what? Simply because the room was simply because the room I guess the room was too hot, and I'm like, why is the paint kind of dripping off a little bit? And I was like, that made me believe like, oh, okay, this is not the best quality there for the type of material they used on this. I was kind of disappointed, but yeah, ever since then I just be a little bit more careful about like trying to purchase types of figurines, especially from the vendors. I kind of look up reviews and
Yeah,
go through
yeah. So
those
yeah, so do
avenues. Yeah.
yeah, so do I. I always buy from Sideshow because they're always really good when it comes down to figurines. But there's other places too that I've bought
Mm.
from also. But Sideshow's basically the number one that I buy if I'm gonna get. I actually do have the Nakali statue also, and I actually have Ken also. I have the Ken from Sideshow, and he's next to my TV. So yeah, I have. I think those are the only 3 that I have. I have the Vega, the Ken, and the Nakali from Sideshow. But yeah, they're really cool pieces. I really do appreciate the figurines and just to have them in my collection. So that's how you can tell I'm a big Street Fighter fan. If I buy the figurine, I mean it's pretty much done.
Yeah, that kind of shows that there is a yep. I mean, especially if you're willing to spend so much on something that means a lot to you too as well. So yeah, I mean, shout out to that passion for making that happen. But we're gonna go ahead and get started on a couple of our topics that we got going down today, and then we'll segue to the meat and potatoes, the main course later on that I am very curious to hear about.
Okay.
The truth. That way, it at least gives you some time to prepare. I don't know if you did any pre-prep before this to tell us about the troop, or is everything going to come out like just straight off the top of the dome here, and just let us know because you have it memorized and you're good to go.
Yeah,
But
I haven't memorized it at all, so it's just gonna come naturally, and I'm just gonna be my true self. So it comes naturally. It
okay,
comes naturally.
all right.
I'm not gonna go over a list. So whatever you guys want to ask, whatever you guys want to know, it's gonna come naturally.
All right, well, perfect. Well, big shout outs to I'll say good shout outs to Good Bad because Good Bad definitely came with his notes ready and where ran to go. So he definitely took some time to make sure everything was on point. I appreciate that. The kiddo said, "Nope, we're gonna just do this live," and I said, "Okay, I respect it.
Uh,
I respect it." All right,
I appreciate Good Bad because I know right now he's listening, probably kicking his feet up like Chucky. So I know he's probably having a good time hearing more about me. So you know, yeah, it's just yeah, I have to do this naturally, and I have to be 100% myself.
all right. Well, much respect to that. All right, so let's go over a couple of things there. We'll start off with Evil Japan 2025. I don't know, did any of you guys manage to catch any of the action there for the Evil Japan like
I,
a few weeks ago?
I actually did not, and it's only because I was so busy with work, and it's just
Mhm.
yeah. But if you want, you can tell me about it.
Sure, for no problem, no reason. No problem. I think they did an announcement. Like I caught because it was like really late for us. 'Cause we're on East Coast time, and of course that's in Japan. So I think their matches like at least starts at midnight or 1 in the morning there for whichever pool matches and like top eight and things of that nature. So I only caught a bit. Eventually went off to La La Land, which was expected there. They did announce the date for like Evil France sometime in October. I was like, okay, when's Evil Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? Right, Richard? So
Whew.
Evil Japan, yeah. So Evil Japan was like a few weeks ago. There, but yeah, it was pretty late because of that time zone difference. I only caught the first like match to like top eight. It did kind of conked out, but then I had woke up the next day and saw that Mena RD had won. The following morning was like Blanca, but the format did seem kind of odd to me, because I think it was like first to two for top eight, and then I heard some side tournament games were like first to one, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm suing. I'm suing. I did not come all the way to do the first to one for side tournament, and then this, you know, first to two all the way for there. But big shout outs to your team, make it retro. You guys had Blender, Ben, and Shadow out there from making a journey all the way over there, especially with Shadow, who got what 193rd place out of like 7K players.
So, well, Blenderman actually didn't compete, but Chato did, and he got 193rd
Mm,
place out of the
mm.
7,200. Yeah, 7,200
Ah,
players.
dang,
Yeah, I mean to make it that far for his first Evo Japan, I mean that's
that's amazing.
yeah.
That's
Oh, I'm extremely proud for Chato. Like as for that,
yeah.
like put Middle Georgia on the map for that. We can make it that far, like in a huge tournament that caliber. Yeah.
I mean, that is a lot of people, yo. That is great. I mean, the fact I feel like he could have cleared top 100. The way he was, if he got that far. So I'm just like, I was wondering, do you know if he's like going to CEO?
Oh no, he definitely is. Yeah,
Okay.
because actually, him and probably like six, seven other people are definitely going from here, our scene to CEO. But at Evo, he lost his first and second match, and he could have won, but then he just locked in and said he didn't let his loss get to him, and he won 8 more matches or 7, 8 more matches straight, and then got knocked out before top. I think it would be top 128. I want to say if he made it. Yeah,
He was there. He was almost there.
yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely, yeah.
Dang.
He's excited. He's looking forward to CEO. And I think he also going to Evo too in the USA.
Nice, man. I mean, if you got that momentum, you will definitely do well at the next event for sure. Uh, losing it like you lose the first and second matches, and then you like win like 7 or 8 straight after that. Yeah, I feel like you got another level, a higher plane at that point. I did see there was like some issues with like the console complaint. They were saying like the overheating from like the USB on there, like the sync issues. Like I don't even leave my console on standby. I shut it down. But I don't know if that was like a ventilation issue because of the
Yeah.
venue.
So
Yeah.
so actually I talked to Charlie about it, and basically it was like the place, it was kind of hot, and it was like kind of packed there, so like it was really hot. So in addition to the that type of heat, having the consoles on constantly, and then they didn't. I don't think, I'm not sure they had like the USB hubs. Basically the PS5s pretty much overheated, and that melted the USB ports and everything like that. So that was like the big issue, unfortunately. And then only in addition, because basically people were like, obviously on Twitter or social media was like, yeah, you should have PC, this and that third. But someone pointed it out and said, and I think it happened before, I want to say last year. I know it happened at one of the Evos last year too. Or Evo, or first Evo that had Street Fighter 6, I want to say. But like the overheating issue, and basically, it wasn't cool enough. But the fact that is that even they had like a PC, unless all of them had like a liquid cooler or a really good cooler, for example, then the PC would suffer the same fate because of just the overall humidity and heat building up in the area, and it would have crashed or whatever for the games and stuff. So, of course, I know the idea that ideally you will want to something have like the optimal setup, which is what maybe a PC, in to avoid all that type of mess and stuff like that, among other commodities for the tournament formats. But yeah, it was just that unfortunately the venue wasn't fully suitable for the air environment. And of course, I think he also brought up about the idea there wasn't many consoles for casuals because they had to wait in line for like 40 minutes for a match and then rotate out, because most of the consoles were used for the tournament instead of the casuals. And if some games in general had at least actually one or two, little to none, which is it's kind of odd because ideally you would have like a space and area for that type of stuff. But
Right.
so yeah, cause I talked to him this weekend about it. About experiences. Like overall itself, it wasn't bad. But if that case kind of happened, you still want to try to visit the place, at least the country itself, for the good experience. And of course, the competition was obviously strong. And I did watch some of it, most of it. Well, no, I said most of it. Some of it. I actually seen many moderns, a lot more modern players in that area. And there was another modern Lily or two. And I saw a bunch of
Yeah.
more. Yeah. So he wasn't alone for sure.
Oh no, there was dozens of the M users out there in full force. I think one of them, it was a modern king, even took out Kakaru. He was the champ. He was $2 million champ. And he lost to a modern king. Now, this is a interesting time frame. But yeah, I mean, I just heard it was like very hot and humid. So I know that kind of unfortunately would equal some form of funk, respectfully though, to all of those people in attendance. But like when I was just looking at the stream, how everyone was like really close together, and I think they didn't really have seats available during like the finals. I think it was like everybody was sitting down like really close to each other. Um, but yeah, as far as the PS5s, I mean, I feel like the design of the console is not really meant to be on all day, just based off of its design. Like
Yep.
the thermal fan,
Yeah.
the pace going out over time for sure. Then you got the dust particles in the air getting into the system too as well. So I mean, I could go down the rabbit hole as to why the Xbox Series X or the PC may have been a better option, but PC could still have the issues simply because when you're plugging in, especially if they don't have like the USB hubs, you're plugging it directly into the port. It has to register whatever device it creates a driver or whichever device you're plugging into. So if you're constantly plugging and unplugging, it's registering all of that in the background. So that could eventually lead to some software issues on the machine. But yeah, outside of that experience for Japan, I would like to, maybe sit down with Chato one day and get the full experience, because not every day you can say you traveled, the land of the rising sun, competed in the game, and get 193rd place out of 7K people. So that definitely sounds like a future event for sure. I wonder if he visited 7-Eleven. I feel like that would have been one of the stops, because I hear it's like that's the Japanese version of Bucky's. I mean, we're in Georgia, so that's
Yeah,
a
he did say the pancakes are amazing.
pancakes, the Japanese pancakes.
Yeah, he said they are really good. I think there's one place that's not that great, but for the most part, the ones he went to, they're really good.
Oh man, we're talking about food. I'm the biggest food critic.
Yeah, but look, I hear you, my friend.
Hey,
I hear
man.
you. Yeah, but yeah, the
Like
overall
making
experience. Go ahead.
I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying the overall experience for him, like he said, he actually enjoyed it. He had a really good time there, and of course, definitely, that would be enticing everyone else to try to, try to go out there. That reminds me of trying to renew my passport. So, for sure. But yeah, definitely that's pretty much what I saw and heard and discussed with Chato about the experience of Evil Japan. And I'm sure that, like I said, they hopefully Sony will be aware of that type of issue, that they can hopefully improve from that as well. Then the tournament runners can improve their experience and so forth, because we hold them up to a high standard, and we know that not everything will go perfectly well at times, and of course there will be some criticism and feedbacks about it, but at the same time we hopefully will be more constructive. Of course we are, but hopefully more people will be more understanding, more constructive criticizing about their experiences, and that they can just only go up from here. So Evil Japan 2026, it may be a new venue, it may be a better use of the air system, whatever, and it'd be a better maybe format that'd be suitable for everyone. So, like I said, I have high hopes. I mean, to have 7,000 players from all over, and apparently they haven't really as many Japanese players that don't get a chance to travel. They're very good, and like you said, one of them may have beat Gakuru, so that says a lot for that region, for sure. But yeah, that's what I saw and heard about my evaluation of Evil Japan experience from an outsider.
Yeah, I know they were playing on the Lena build of the game, where every other character wasn't available.
Oh
Besides
yeah.
her. So like, I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait for the official patch notes and like the exclamation chain trailer, just in case they do add in like some new system changes. Um, but one of the biggest things, because I think we mentioned earlier about the moderns, was that they had that modern will be getting like a jump assist button added in for modern mode, which allows you to get access to the rest of your normals in the air by holding out a specific buttons, and then you get the rest of your normals that you didn't have before. So that's what I'm kind of the most interested in, intrigued in, because if that is the case, it does open up a new avenue for like newer combos, and like I feel like that's going to improve a lot of characters whose normals like kind of you have to do target normals in the air to get their combos, and they didn't have that before, but now you have access to that full kit. So we'll see. And I thought this is huge, and then we'll see how. I feel like they may have goofed on this one. Maybe a developer oversight. But I feel like there was also the adjustment to like perfect parry timing and
Oh
like
yeah.
certain normal, yeah,
Oh,
certain normals not causing screen freeze anymore. You have to parry a certain way now, and I don't know. I think I just kind of just wait to see what happens, because we're like what 2 weeks away,
yeah,
around
and
the
also
corner.
too, summer. The day, I think it's the day after, not the day of. 'Cause June 6th, 7th. Summer Game Fest is happening right after the release of the season 3 or the big patch of Elena for Street Fighter 6. Capcom was there, last year, and that's how presented the season 2 trailer at Summer Game Fest, or broadcasted So most likely, right after that, you might get a teaser for season 3, as Capcom appears again. Because sure, they probably announce something besides another Monster Hunter content. But yes, but yeah, love Monster Hunter. But yeah, but yeah,
They gotta go with keeping the lights on. So they're
yeah.
catering. They
Oh
catering
God,
to that business too.
another Monster Hunter? No way.
Gonna happen. That's the baby. That's one of the babies besides Street Fighter.
I,
That's one of the babies.
It
You
makes
gotta take care
banks.
of the baby.
It makes bank.
I never have played Monster Hunter, and I should probably give it a chance. But there's just so many. Where do I even go from? Well, like, where do I even start?
There's like several collections, right? They're like collections and remasters and HD, and I'm like, so do I play this version? Do I play the most recent version because the engine is different now? Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Like, where do you start off
right.
to get the true Monster Hunter experience? Yeah,
You know,
I got you.
yeah, I don't even know where to even start from when it comes to that. But it's crazy that you bring up other Capcom games because right now I got a Steam Deck like a couple months ago, and there was a title called Remember Me. I'm actually playing that one right now. It's pretty cool. I never actually gave it a chance, but right now it's currently the only game I'm playing on the Steam right now. So I want to see if it's good or not. But I know a lot of people do like it, and then a lot of people don't. So I'm kind of like going through old Capcom games myself and just like seeing what was good and if it was really bad. Because there was a time where I think like 2012, 2013, I didn't game at all, and yeah, I missed out on a couple games. So yeah, I definitely picked that one up, and it was a Capcom game. So that one right now I'm currently playing. So, but as far as like Monster Hunter, I don't even know where to even start with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, because it's like there's different variations of that game series too as well. So I would say with the most recent one, or maybe like with Monster Hunter World, because then after that you got all the sequels that come after it. But for the most part, it still has you like an introduction to the reintroduction to like the newer system. So I would say because I think Monster Hunter World is like I think it was free on PlayStation, but it's like it should be like a more cheaper version of the game. That if you wanted to like start there. Um, but yeah. Outside of that, that was the Evil Japan. So we're gonna move on to our next topic here. So I do. This is actually pretty interesting, right? And Nintendo, you've been with us, well, with Untamed Gaming for quite some time. Retro, you've been, I can't even count. You probably can't even count how many tournaments you've done as of this date over the course of the years that you've been in TO too as well. So when you guys listen out, this is called like our commentators curse section, right? So what do you look for, like when you listen to good commentary on fighting games, especially for like Street Fighter 6 or better yet, what do you consider good commentary?
Well, the good commentary, I can't tell you anything about the commentary because I turn it off when I play Street Fighter 6. So, and I'm horrible on it. But since you bring this up, uh, actually the reason why I continued to join the tournaments for Untamed Gaming is because of how much you guys put into it. You, Shadow Ace, and Jaco, you guys have such great chemistry. It's so funny. It's honestly super fun. And I'm very surprised that you guys are not even on the commentary for Street Fighter 6 because it's one of the reasons why why I just continue to join the tournaments and play the exhibitions when I can. So yeah, I don't know about this commentary curse, but I will tell you guys that you guys make it so fun compared to other tournaments that I just have always have a great time, and I always love listening to you guys.
Definitely do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Then, so then if that was the only reason I've asked it because there's a special. We have a special visitor here in the chat. This is live stream, by the way. We have good bad, right? So I'm like,
Oh my
okay,
god,
so
is
what
Good
if
Bad
we got
gonna
the
literally?
good?
Is he literally gonna crash my podcast episode? He can't just let me have one thing.
I see the good, but now I got to ask for the bad. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, Gen and Ren, right?
Okay.
They're the two sides of the same coin type of deal, I guess. So then let me ask you: you said you don't really, okay? You said you don't really listen to the commentary, but then you do kind of check us out, for me and Jacob when we're doing our events. So what would you consider bad commentary?
Somebody that doesn't have personality, somebody that's not engaging. Somebody who's just, yeah, you could just basically tell in their voice that they just don't want to be there. I mean, I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, they got to have a personality. It's the only reason why I never really, like, because I wanted to stream way back in 2020. I wanted to actually stream, me playing games, enjoying them, but I found out I just, was so hard on myself, and I really shouldn't have been, because I am a likable, I feel like I am a likable, fun personality, but I feel like whenever it comes down to streaming, it's a lot of work, and then I stopped losing interest in actually enjoying the games I played. So I kind of put the streaming on hold. But I mean, yeah, you just basically have to be a good commentator, you have to have a personality. It's the number one thing that gets the views up. It's the number one thing that, keeps people subscribing, keeps people resubscribing to your channel or even visiting it. So bad commentary is just basically you don't have no personality, no input. You're quiet. Just things like that.
Okay. Wow. I know everyone has their own opinion when it comes to good and bad commentary. Like some like the analytical business esports style commentary who will give out frame data and direct calculations and mathematical ratio obtuse angle as formulas, and some are rare, and and then others are like more raw and uncut, and just that's just how they run their words.
Yeah.
And
It,
sometimes you can get a mixture of both,
Yeah,
but
yeah. If
yeah.
somebody starts telling me about frame data and all that stuff, I don't like. I know what it is, but I just get lost in it, and I just, yeah, I'm lost. So if they talk to me about like this is +4 on block, or this is +4 or -4 on recovery, or whatever, I'm kind of like, okay, I know what you're talking about, but I kind of don't know what you're talking about. I really just play the game,
Mhm.
just like Good Bad does. We really just play the game, and we just enjoy the game the way that it is.
That is presented to you. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. That's fair enough. Then, what about you, Retro? What do you consider the good and bad of the commentary?
Yeah. So we actually are doing and we have well, Mundo, shouts to him. He initiated a commentary program where he's trying to help people who want to commentate and get paid for it. And he does has help setting standards that align with mine as well for someone who has seen and been involved with commentary for many years. Of course, the thing is that, like, alongside with Nukendo saying that, having a personality is a great thing. You know, being passionate, interested in what you're talking about and so forth, and also not trying to go off topic, and talk about something else like pizza or food or the movies while a match is going, especially while a match is going on, you know, and of course, being it's fine for jokes wise. It's fine to throw memes here and there, but you don't want to try to throw a meme for every situation that's going on in the match. Like we can, yeah, we can interpret and understand what you mean by that, and be funny about it to make it entertaining. But you're not exactly there to entertain. You're actually more there to inform, and not that I don't want to restrict people from doing that. For entertaining, making a joke and make people comfortable for viewers and the audience. But at the same time, we are trying to. Many of the people are willing to try and figure out, hey, what is this? What's going on? Why is this happening? What is the player trying to think, or this and that third? And
Mhm.
if you're not given that type of like insight about any of that, then it's better. Is it might as well just have you muted and just trying to figure out on our own that way. Because there has been cases where, and even to like nowadays, really big commentators that love to throw out memes and jokes but a little too much. It's
Yeah.
excessively. and not really
That's okay.
right, and not really like kind of like fully analysis. Now, the thing is that of course, that like I said, like I said, you can balance it out. Take for example, Tasty Steve
Right.
will be an example because or Yipes. Of course, that's like the cop out examples. They definitely joke around. They do a lot of jokes and stuff in their commentary and so forth. And he ha ha. But at the same time, they give out information with frame data or something that's informative about what's going on in the match or analysis about the match, and and basically be like, oh, okay, so they said that this character is this like that, this player tried to do this and that. Okay, I see. Because you never know that people who are trying to actually learn. Some people might learn characters and matchups by listening to the commentators as much as they're watching the match at the same time. And I'm partially one of them, and it helps me because as also a commentator myself, I also try to learn of how to engage with the audience or learn about information about something I don't know, because the big thing that does happen a lot, that a lot of people outside when they see commentators, they have that expectations of, hey, you should know. I think you're this person that like what you're talking about, know what's going on, so we're gonna listen to you. But if they hear you say nothing but nonsense, you're gonna get tuned off. Like people gonna like turn away from you from that. So with the R scene, with that incentive that we're trying to do, like people get paid, but we actually have where they submit their commentary and we review them and give them feedbacks or whatever, and if we approve them or not. And many of them that do, obviously sign up for commentary, it may be most likely they are games that they love and passionate about, and we literally see that. We actually gauge by that, and once they, we believe that they meet that criteria, then we approve it. So we have that filter in that sense for us, But of course, over time, if there's a game like yesterday, people didn't know about Power Stone or Plasma Sword, but they was eager to give it a shot and wanted to talk about it, and of course a lot of people would be nervous. It's like, oh, I don't know what to talk about and this and that. I don't know what's going on. And one of the commentators with me was like, I don't know about this game. Does this, that? Is that, I'm sorry if I'm asking questions. And I'm like, no, this is, the other thing is that commentating, you're having a conversation. You're just talking about what's going on. And perfectly fine to ask questions about a game you don't know, because it does ease, it may be a dismay to an elitist or a purist of an audience that like wants to know information, but for the most part, for the audience, if they understand that you don't know everything and you communicate that to them, they'd be at ease. Like, okay, so they're new to this or they don't know this, and that's okay. Okay, so we guess we research together. But then if you have someone that does know, like me, for example, knowing some things, then then I can say, well, for this game, it's about this, that, third. For this match going on, it's this, and this, and so forth. And like, oh, okay, cool. And because basically you can make it flow if asking the questions about something, and basically and of course answering it, because at the same time, like I said, that's how you can still, because you're still gonna be learning either way. Like no one's not gonna know everything about commentary. So pretending to know is a problem, though. And when people,
I need you to
go ahead.
You might have to elaborate on that a little further. Pretending to know I feel like that's spicy, right? Pretending to know is now this I think this is where it can kind of kick up a little bit, right? When you say pretending to know, we're saying that they're getting on the mic and they're talking about, you may just be saying things, but it may not be correct or truly relative, but they're trying to relate information. And it may sound okay, but it could be misinformation that they're giving out. There's always someone in the chat that could kind of correct that or may correct it or point that out. But they're providing this information because they're not too well versed on the game that they're talking about.
Yep.
Now, What is you? What do you mean by that? Pretending.
Perfect example.
Break that
'Cause I've seen this within my own scene, and I've seen it in many cases outside of it, where people will be like, so that move right there, that's safe, and that person right there, at the, he pressed the button, and the person's safe. I believe so. I guess that person's safe on block, blah blah blah. And me, who seen that move many times, and who knows that move and how the move operates, is like, no, it's not safe in this position, and not safe in that position. It's safe right there, but it's not safe right there. But when I'm not there, if I'm not there to communicate with that person and say, hey, that move's not safe in that position, then people will be like, oh yeah, okay, and they try it out, they might lab it, and then they be like, man, why keep getting hit every time I press that button? Man, what's going on? But he said that they said it was that safe on block. There you go, and then that's the information that unfortunately that leads to those domino effect, to those consequences that then people get some misinformed. They do terrible in matches. That this not third. You have to be careful about that. And like I said, that's why like I said, you don't have to lab everything, but you have to at least play the game and play and mess around with some things that in situations. And if it's the first time you seen that happen, just say you don't know, and especially if you don't know, just say you don't know. You can say it in a way like, "Oh man, so that move, I'm not sure if that's safe or not. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna test it out myself. See if it happens again and so forth. It looks like it's safe, but then I could be wrong. Like that type of lines could like communicate with the audience, makes them feel comfortable that hey, you're human enough to not know everything, but you'll be willing to check it out, and then next time, you lab it out, see what it does, and say, okay, chat, so it seems that test it out. That move is safe on block on this position, but not over there. So he goes to punish and this and that, blah blah blah. And then once they see you learn, then they learn. Even if it's 1 or 2 or 3 viewers on in the stream, someone's watching and someone's listening to what you're saying. And it can get to a point if you be misinformative about that, they're going to start tuning you out, and they're not going to be wanting to listen to you. And then, you'd be like, well, why we go down from like 100 viewers to 20 viewers, then to 10. Because people start muting you and tuning you out, and they don't follow you on your social media or follow your content on social media because, they said, oh man, this dude lied about this matchup or lied about this character and so forth. And I don't want and then they don't want you to be a commentator for Evo or any big event, especially. So when that happens, it'll be a problem. So that's the type of curse you don't want to have. Commentator's curse of in a joking manner that we normally use it for, of like, hey, this person's gonna win. Looks like it's game over. GG's, and then they get counter, and then the turnaround. You don't want that to happen to you in your commentary yourself. You don't curse yourself, like Shadow Ace is pretty much intended for this topic. You don't want to put yourself in a position where, hey, this commentator knows what he's talking about. I'm gonna try and see what he does. Oh no, they don't know what they're talking about. Ooh, we don't want you to be talking anymore. That's all I say.
Damn. Well, I mean, you're absolutely not wrong. I feel like this, like people have their different takes on what I know. Commentary is subjective, personal preference. Like some actually, like I mentioned before, like the type and style of commentary that they listen to is their preference. Like I know someone who likes that. Hey, this person has the numbers. This person is saying that they're not. I mean, they're not doing jokes or making any funny references or memes or anything like that. But they do enjoy that type of commentary. But then on the other hand, you like the ones that are a little bit more expressive, like Nukendo said, like being more having a personality, like being able to express themselves and have a good time and make jokes and stuff. But also keeping it relevant to what that game is going on. I feel like if you rely too heavily on that type of material, I feel like that's bad commentary. Like everything doesn't have to be, joking here and referencing this and this and this. I feel like if you can mix both of them, I think you're a great comment. I think you'd be a good good commentator. And I think that because you're also providing information to the listener, right? You're letting them know the situation. You could crack a joke here and there. It's all good. You can laugh, have a good time. But as long as you're keeping it relevant to the game, like you can even sidetrack. Maybe there's a situation that's going on, you sidetrack from that. But as long as you're willing to bring it back to the game, instead of something, I think that's fine. If you're constantly going off topic, every match you're not even talking about the game, people are going to point that out. They're going to say, "Hey, man, can you commentate the match, please? Like, let me know what's going on. Why is this person doing this, and this, and this situation? I don't know what's going on. I'm a first time viewer. I'm trying to learn how to fight this game, and you sitting here talking about flavors of waffles or something. It's just things like situations like that where I think it's very important to kind of just keep that in mind, especially when you're trying to do commentary. And you said Mondo was doing a program about putting commentators on
Yeah.
your area. Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically like try to help players get paid to, at least for our scene, get paid to commentate, because
Okay.
the thing is he definitely wants to push a program for, like, he wants to help expose us more, and he wants to push people to get out of their shelves to express themselves, because there are a lot of people that are very passionate about their game, but they don't really talk much about it.
Okay. Shout out to Mundo. I think he was in here earlier. He stopped by, but I'm very excited to see the fruits of the labor from that program and seeing more people get their names out there for that content. And I think sometimes you need to push, but sometimes you need a little extra help, a little nudge to get that potential going out of there. And then you realize after you do it a couple of times, you start to become a natural, and it gets comfortable to you, and then you just develop and grow from there. Everybody didn't start out good. You got the good, the bad, and the ugly. But speaking of good bad, I think good bad was in here
Oh
earlier
no.
asking Nukendo some questions.
Oh
So we gotta
God.
start. I'm gonna start back to the. We're gonna circle back to Nukendo, our very special guest here. So Nukendo, good bad's question was he wanted to know your opinions on season 3, Street Fighter 6 changes to the mechanics, the change to perfect parry, what he expects from season 3 mechanics, and what he wants changed. Oh, that's a pretty loaded question.
Wow.
Okay,
Okay, so he's got questions. Okay.
he's got questions.
For season 3, let's start off with the characters. I feel like we're missing grappler, and and I know that a bunch of people have said this, but I feel like we're missing at least one or two grapplers, and I feel like it would be their time to shine in season 3. I expect at least one grappler to be in, the season 3 cast. Now I know with the leaks, Sagat, Sea Viper, Ingrid, and I believe it was Alex that got leaked. I don't know if it's actually valid. I feel like those are really safe choices, except for Sea Viper. I am hoping that Sea Viper does make it in, because all the Sea Viper fans have been wanting her since the Forbidden game. So I really do hope that she does get in, but I want to see a little bit more grapplers. I would be really happy to see. I really would be happy to see Alex to be in it, but also just more grapplers in season 3. But if I had to choose who I would say would be in season 3, I've said this for a while though. I've said it for the longest. I feel like season 3 isn't going to be what has gotten leaked. I feel like it'll probably be one Tekken character. I don't know why. I just feel like Tekken is
Hmm.
going to invade Street Fighter 6 somehow. In some way, some shape or form. I believe Kazayu is going to be guest character Tekken, if there is going to be a Tekken character. I had heard that a rumor a while back that it was going to be a Tekken character. But as far as season 3 list goes, I mean, I really don't think that leak is valid. I think they're all safe choices. I think that we're going to see some unexpected season 3 guests. I would not be surprised if El Fuerte makes it in. I'm telling you, I feel like it's going to be the characters that we are not going to expect for season 3.
Interesting. Okay. So I do believe that there is going to be a guest character in season 3. Now, is it going to be 2 of them? I hope that is not the case. I hope that is not the case. I hope that 2 of the guest characters, 50% of the past do not make up 50% of the past.
Yeah,
I do fully expect 1 guest character. Now, if they give us 2, that would be out of control. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know if people will be excited about. Well, I know a lot of people wouldn't be excited about that, but yeah, that could possibly do some damage, man. If it's multiple guest characters, I'm not gonna lie.
Um,
Um,
yeah, no,
yeah,
I just think that even just the whole cycle of 4, I don't know where this trend of 4 came in with Capcom. They really shouldn't be doing what Tekken is doing. They should be concentrating on their own game. This whole 4 characters per season, it's not enough. At least do 5. If you're gonna do a guest character, give us 4 Street Fighter characters. Then make the guest character your 5th one that you're going to put, and put them at towards the end. Give them more development time, but actually, get these picks out there that people actually want, because a lot of people have been asking for, Alex, Sea Viper. A lot of people have been asking for grapplers this season, and I'm kind of with the whole grappler, the whole grappler situation. I really do want to see some more grapplers. I want to see different characters make it in. And if it's a new character, by all means, like, new character, great. I'm not opposed to new characters like other people are. Just make them really, really cool, make them stand out, make them part of the past, and make them part of the universe. But I feel like a lot of the characters that got leaked, I feel like they're really, really safe. I mean, to have Sagat in season 3, I feel like it's too early for him, but we said the same thing about Bison. So I really don't know if I believe it or not. Now, if it is true, I wouldn't mind it. I really just wouldn't mind it. However, I would like to see some unexpected characters return that kind of deserve a second chance. And for some reason, I feel like El Fuerte will be part of either season 3 or season 4. I don't know why he stands out to me so much, but I feel like he deserves at least a second chance. And a lot of others deserve a second chance. Like Nakali deserves a second chance. I think a bunch of people deserve second chances to actually, innovate them as characters and make them different this time around.
yeah. I mean, the fact that it's interesting because Ed is the only character that got like a complete overhaul. Some of his moves stayed the same. Even some of his moves got taken away. But the fact that he was the only character that got a complete redesign, and Rashid, Bison, Akuma, those characters kind of retained their legacy kits, is kind of wild to me. I'm not gonna like. I feel like that should not be the case. Or if I feel like if they're going to bring back a returning character and change them up that much, that's a drastic change. That's a completely whole different character. They
Yeah.
could do that with someone else, but the fact that all of those other characters, they get to keep their core gameplay intact and just transferring over 6, is I want to see that happen. I want to see, if they're going to bring back an older character, maybe like for example, I just give an example like Remy from Street Fighter 3, right? The Gao, the second Gao. There's a lot of experimentation that they could do with his character, for sure, and they could change him up completely too as well. So I want to see them take a little bit more risk on if they're going to bring back older characters. Maybe take one and just give them that redesigned treatment and put them
Yeah.
in 6.
See, and that's where Nakali comes in, where I'm just kind of like, you know what? His story arc was really just, we really just didn't get a whole closure on it. I mean, it was just very so rushed. So I honestly would not mind him to be in Street Fighter 6 also. I feel like he deserves a second chance only because his character design is really, really good. I mean, if they make him play like Omega Red, that would be cool. I mean, why not even change him up a bit? Like make him be a grappler and have projectiles, just kind of like the way Laura was. I mean, maybe he could use his dreads and grapple you, and do something with his whole hair. I mean, his whole hair is his own play style, right? So like, why not do something like that where it's like his whole hair, like they're like tentacles or something, and it's just like it honestly could be really, really cool if they redesign Nakali. I think that I would be all for it. But like I said, like the unexpected picks, I expect somebody unexpected to come in season 3. And I'm looking at my Street Fighter 4 poster right now, and El Fuerte just stood out to me. Like, why not? And I mean, even like I said, Sea Viper, if she's in, I mean, I actually kind of want to see what she plays like. But I also want to see more Third Strike characters. I want to see, this is a sequel to Third Strike. I want to see more Third Strike characters. And that goes for Sean, Dudley. It goes for all those that were so unique in their game. Because a lot of people hated Street Fighter Third Strike when it came out. They're like, who are these newbies? But I want to actually see more of them. I want to see what they're up to in this whole entire timeline. So I actually would love more Third Strike characters for season 3. I really, really do, and even unexpected ones. If they could do one Shoto, one Grappler, one Stance, and one mix-up character, I think it would make a ideal season 3 pass if they go that route. And if the Shoto is Sean, great. If the Grappler is Alex, even better. If the mix-up is Sea Viper, great. And as far as like even Final Fight characters, I have a feeling with Metro City, the whole theme, I feel like Hagar would actually come and actually be part of the roster. I really do believe so. I think that it's his return in this game as well. A lot of returning people that I want for season 3 to come. I mean, it's just, there's a whole list, but I just don't want to see any more of guests. I honestly don't want to see more of guests that could have been taking a roster. It could have been taking a slot from the roster, especially since we had the whole fiasco with season 2 and how everybody was upset with the two SNK characters. I mean, but they were part of Capcom either way, so they weren't considered guests. But I mean, they've been in Capcom fighting games for the past 20 years. So them being from SNK really wasn't really that much of a guest character, but I get what people mean when they really want the whole Street Fighter roster, especially returning characters.
Yeah, I feel like with any character, like Hagar would be an amazing pick because it covers two bases. It covers your Final Fight representative and it covers the grappler base. I definitely feel like there is going to be a Final Fight character in season 3. And unfortunately, there's a strong chance it's going to be Cody. It's a strong chance it's going to be Cody, but Hagar will carry and take care of two things, two birds with one stone as a solid pick, right? He's been the fan requested character since all the way back in Street Fighter 4. So this will be the perfect time right now, like you said, since the whole story is kind of like revolving in Metro City. There's promotional material all over Metro City for Hagar, Cody, and things like that for Easter eggs. So I do feel like one of those characters is going to be a Final Fight character. I can say that with 100% confidence, and I could also say the other character is going to be special guest character. So I got Final Fight and special guest. Now everything else is a toss up. Unfortunately, I do feel like they're going to go with the 4 character system again.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because we're Street Fighter 6. I feel like the whole Street Fighter 6, it should be 6 characters per pass and have at least 4 Street Fighter characters and then do whatever you want with the 2 guests. I mean, it really doesn't matter. But I feel like 6 characters would be so ideal. I mean, we're Street Fighter 6. 6 is the magic number here. Why not do 6 per season? I really don't know what's going on, what they're thinking there of why not adding, even if it's 5. I mean, I would love 5, but just the whole trend of 4, just because Tekken's doing it, I really just don't understand what's going on. So, I mean, I really do hope that everybody's favorites do come back. Like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited for Sea Viper fans if it is true, they get their character. I'll be excited for Alex fans. I'm just greedy. I just want more. I want more. And I want to see all the people that I want to see all the people that actually made Street Fighter 5 kind of great. I mean, because Street Fighter 5 had some new characters. I mean, we had Rashid, who's in Street Fighter 6. I'm very surprised Rashid got picked out of everybody. I didn't know that Rashid was so popular. Like, I really, really didn't. So, I mean, I do like Rashid, though. Rashid's cool. Like I said, I would want to see Laura also. I love Laura. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I love her. I think she's actually a projectile grappler, and I don't know. I just thought her playstyle was cool. She was fun. She was a new character. She's also Sean's sister, so I mean, having Sean and Laura in a pack also would be really really great, and it would be such a good marketing standpoint for Capcom to actually ship them two together in a pack or in a season pass. That would be actually really really cool. I honestly would love to see it. But I mean, you have characters like Manat too. Manat, everybody loves. I mean, I don't even think I've heard anybody say anything negative towards Manat, because to me she was the best new character in Street Fighter Five, the best new well designed character, and everybody loved her. And her theme is awesome. I don't know what it is about her theme, but when it comes on when I'm fighting, I play so much better. I don't understand what that theme does to me. I should honestly just put it on all my fights, because whenever that theme plays, I win. You know what I mean? And lately I've just been losing. I'm on a losing streak, so that's just part of who Nukendo is. I'm just big losing streak.
I mean, that could be also be something like for your water character. So I noticed, like, when I was looking at your picture for your character, they were doing like a fireball motion, or like maybe gathering some water,
Yeah,
like in a ball.
yeah,
Then, like, what if he just fights with a water ball? See,
yeah,
like, man, not,
yeah. That would
he
be
throws the
cool.
water ball out, and can control the water ball, something like that.
Yeah, it would be cool. I
But,
mean, even just
yeah.
having like spheres of water, or like even like a shield, like a ripple shield with water, that would be cool. Like how like Dalsum, how Dalsum has his like parry where his hands come out and his like project, like his like hand motions are like parrying the next move. That would be cool. Like for my character to have like a water shield, like like for a parry or something, and it's just like spinning around and it's just parrying. That actually would be cool. I mean, I just have so much like ideas about what actually could my character like do, and it would be honestly it would be awesome to see.
Well, then, and that's the case, then we'll go ahead and segue into our next topic here. Kind of the very interesting. This might get a little spicy, but I'll go ahead and say this, right? So we have a topic here. We're calling it paid coaching services and fighting games, right? So as I mentioned, yeah, this might get a little spicy, but here we go. That's the DAP VIP. So let's look at it from a customer service perspective first. Like, you are agreeing to provide a service to assist players on improving their performance metrics. So think of it as a trainer, like training new hires to a job, or coaching employees to improve their statistics on the job. You need to have qualifications in order to get the role of a trainer. Just for, I guess, a computer or something, or some type of service. So this would entail you knowing all about the product and service, so you can relay this information to the person you're training in order to get them to become successful. And you have to make sure they retain the information that you taught them. So now, if we switch gears to fighting games, some players offer paid services to help improve their gameplay and results, while others will offer advice for free. So my question to you, Retro and Nintendo, how do you feel about this? I feel like the plans and rates vary on the level of support they're offering, like a 1v1 session for 1 hour for $30, or like, do you feel like like, how do you guys feel about those types of services? I'll start off with you, Nintendo.
Honestly, I think it's wild people would actually pay someone to actually help them learn, but I'm not opposed to it, because if you really want to just be good at something, like maybe you just need that expert, that expertise, I guess you could say. So I'm not opposed to it, but I just think it's just kind of like that's just kind of not the way that I do it. I learn by actually going to I learned by just going to training mode, seeing what I'm going to do, what I'm not going to do, what's my next move. And, I just, I play the game. So, but for me, I could use some, I could use some advice, and I've gotten some advice. I know I got to work on my anti-airs. I know I got to work on neutral. I know I got to do a lot of things when I play. But you know what? The funny part is about that is that when I play on stream, I play way different on stream than I do off stream. And even Good Bad can even tell you, I don't know what goes on in your mind when you play on stream because you don't play like that at all whatsoever. It's like I psych myself out before a match. So maybe just my nerves just get the best of me, but it really shouldn't because it's just a game. We're just there to have fun. So I got to work on that though a little bit. But I can say, as far as somebody actually getting coaching, I know that well, within my club we have several who actually pay for services. But honestly, we could just honestly just talk about it and just practice it out and teach them what to do, what not to do. And I'm a visual learner too, so when somebody shows me like how to do a certain move, I can usually replicate it. Like I get like how Good Bad does his Good Bad special. Well, I can replicate it and I can make it my own. I can add in a move and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna add in a move and see what I can do to make it like better. And that's kind of like how I do things. So, but I mean, I'm not opposed to somebody actually paying for the services. However, I just would offer it for free. I mean, there's really just as long as somebody's having a good time with me and I'm teaching them, that's all that really matters.
Oh, that's a I respect that. I definitely do respect that, man. I do feel like the way you would like if you were to go that route, if you do offer those, not again, this is not a slight against anyone that does offer those types of service. I do feel like you would need achievements or at least an accurate resume to show that you are confident, like you that you have the ability to teach your program. Otherwise, I it's like you're saying I need an accurate resume to show that I can be confident in my purchase of your program. Otherwise, why am I paying X amount of money to someone who's not cracking top eight or get to grandmaster rank at least or something? But on the other hand, some people are better at giving advice than actually performing well. Like they give really good advice, but they might not be the strongest player out there. But they don't offer the services or they do offer the services. So I feel like it's kind of like a mixed bag on reactions. It's kind of hard to like pinpoint something like this to it being okay, this is actually morally good or okay, this is actually bad. So what about you, Retro? I think you mentioned that in your intro about coaching services and like you've helped out with players too
Yeah, for me,
before. How
yeah.
do you feel about like fighting game players offering those types of services to people?
Um, I would say at the beginner type level, I would say if it probably based on the type of learning course or difficulty of the course in a sense versus anything. Like for me, I do more of a beginners. For those like an entryway trying to learn something from the get go, like learning the basic fundamentals, learning the game itself, learning to how to play and learning some basics. I don't really obviously I don't charge and stuff because I understand for our scene we don't have that type of economic state to do something like that. But I will respect those if, like, for example, professional players who can give you a lot more in-depth tools beyond me, for example, because I may know a few things, but I may not be explaining it well compared to them. And if for them they like to charge people for it, along not like $100 for an hour to teach you how to do perfect parry a certain way or to that third, that or something ridiculous like that. No, I'm okay with that. But but it was like that high. That's too ridiculous. But it's like I said, I'm not against it. If people are willing to pay to learn to get better, and then if it does help in the long run that they do like get better in place. Actually, I think we have one of our players that did that, and he's now like being a problem in our Street Fighter. D3 King, I believe. He plays JP now and gets on my nerves, but he's still beatable, so I ain't worried about it. Anyway, aside from that, he did actually attend the classes and learn from people, and then he will teach. He actually will bring that knowledge to the other players in our scene and say, "Hey, I was trained by this person, and they told me to use this, that, and third to do that, and this different technique." Because the thing about it, yeah, the truth is that, granted, the knowledge is already there in the stuff, and for people to discover it. And I see good bad brother saying practice, 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 which is true. Of course, I think what makes me feel like I'm kind of in the middle of things is that the way people learn is at different paces, and I can't really judge on that myself on people who may not learn well, like certain people. I can lab myself and I can practice, and I may not need coaching. There's a few players that struggle with that learning at that pace or learning that type of way, and may have better people better than them to teach them stuff. Which I say I'll come in partially for that, but yeah, for having a pro player to charge you for that, I mean, hey, if you're willing to pay for that and it helps you, and you get and in the long run it makes you get good placements in the long run, I'm okay with that. I ain't gonna hurt. And if the pro player gets money off of that, because they ain't gonna make that much money winning all the time if they can win, and they're not doing anything else with the content creation, for example, to make extra money on the side, then hey, that's the ones fair is fair. So I'm not against it.
Yeah, fair is fair for sure. Yeah, just something that was kind of interesting to me about that, like especially like the type of programs and services that are offered. I know they vary from person to person and what they can offer, and it's also about if that person is retaining information that's being taught to them is another variable factor because they can get all of that information. The person can show them the frame data, lay out this plan, run a set, and all of that, but the person still is having that difficulty trying to retain that information. And then at that point, you kind of like wonder what's the policy on that? Like, what is the program? Like, I don't know. If you already paid for the service, I'm assuming you just can't get the refund. It's just that you just unable to, use the services that the person was offering. But yeah, that's just what I was just thinking about here. But we're gonna move in towards our final segment here of the night, and then this is basically gonna be the Nukendo Power Hour at this point because we kind of had this theme going at the start of the podcast. You guys saw the X Files tribute there, here Retro '90s show that came on, and then we got Sir Retro, so they kind of went hand in hand here. And yeah, this one was just the truth. That was the main thing, man. We kind of was promoting that truth aspect out to agents Scolder and Moley. You know what I'm saying? They were out there just trying to find the truth, man. We're trying to find the truth. We got to figure out what Nintendo means by what is the truth. Okay, so since everything, you said the truth will be revealed, Nintendo. So the floor is yours. We gotta talk
Dang,
to us about it.
you guys make it seem like I'm like unbeatable, like Apocalypse, like where all truths will be revealed.
I
Truth is
mean,
out there.
you you just came out blasting, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
bro, you got it.
No, yeah. So the truth is that, well, you know how you have like you had a lot of players come in all at once with the tournament with Street Fighter 6 Discord and things like that. Well, I hate to say it, but it's because of me and Good Bad.
What did y'all do?
Hello.
Wait,
So
hold on.
I need.
so
I mean,
basically,
we need a cup of coffee for this.
me and Good Bad developed this relationship, this friendship. We have such a good kinship with each other, and we actually just, I don't know, I don't even know how it happened, to be honest. I'm gonna try to recollect my memory of how I met Good Bad. But I remember just, I remember going to an empty lobby, and, I guess Good Bad had entered, and I was just like fixing my whole avatar costume, and I was trying different moves just because, like, the whole avatar scene, like, I just was like, you know what, let me make my character, let me see what moves go with what. And I don't know, somehow me and Good Bad hit it off, and we just played like 20 games, and he saw something in me that was just like wow, like I could teach you, like, Chun Li, you can teach me things. And I taught a lot of moves to Good Bad too. Before then, Good Bad did not know how to drive rush cancel, and I taught him all that stuff. So that's why he plays really, really good right now. And he still has his own signature good bad special. He plays wild. He plays like his house is on fire. What other streamers say, but we actually, play with each other, practice with each other. So we had this idea one day just to, we were just in the chat. We were seeing how people were interacting with each other, and you know what? The good thing about Street Fighter 6 is that it's actually kind of a version of PlayStation Home. For those that don't know what PlayStation Home was, PlayStation Home was like a live service where you actually get to interact with people back then. About like 2009, 2010, I believe. If quote me, I don't know. I don't know if that's the actual date, but I know that Street Fighter's hub is similar to that. So we were just, going in chat, seeing what everybody was talking about, and people actually want to be part of something. So me and Good Bad got together and we created this whole entire club for ourselves. It's mine and Good Bad's club. It's called Godlike Player. And basically we would play people on cabs, and if I would go first, and if they struggled against me, then Good Bad would actually go and see if there were top players. We wanted the top players to actually be in our club, but also to promote Untamed Gaming, and that's what we were doing. We were actually getting people in Untamed Gaming, but not just anybody that wanted to be in a club just for the sake of being in a club. We wanted to have active players to actually want to be part of a tournament, to be part of a community. And so like we would give people the link to Untamed Gaming, and players showed up, and then now we have some of our members playing in exhibitions, playing in the tournaments, and it's just a great thing to see it to actually develop into something even more within the community. Now I know I'm not the best player, right? Like top player, right? Okay, of course I lose a lot. I lose all the time, right? But that's not the point. The point was just to actually, be part of something, be part of a good community of players that me and Good Bad have established. And we've got some pretty good players in our club, and they're part of Untaming, and a lot of players from, I know that um Integra has his own group called Adept. They're part of a group also, and they actually have a good community within that club. And basically, we just wanted to just bring good players to the tournament because we actually love what Untamed Gaming represents, and it's just a whole community that's really unionized. And we even brought Daniel, and Daniel was just a whole accident in itself. And I couldn't stand Daniel in the beginning, but me and Daniel we're really, really good friends now. And I play Marvel Rivals with him, and I'm his healer, and he's my tank, and and I don't know, it's just something that just developed naturally, and it's such a good thing because we're all friends with each other, and we just love being part of something, and it's turned really, really good. So that's the whole entire truth, is that all the players that you're seeing in Untamed Gaming has to deal with me and Good Bad. We started this, and I don't think we're going to stop, but I know that we've taken a halt on it because we're just sick of season 2. We just already want the new changes for season 3. We want new content. We want new stuff. We're kind of bored with it right now, but we're still showing up. Today I showed up in the tournament, and I've been waiting to do the podcast to actually reveal the truth. But yeah, I mean, we just love the whole community that Untamed Gaming represents, and we love it. We love you guys.
All right, so this was the big truth. This was the truth. This was going to be revealed. We've waited weeks for the reveal, just for you to say that you.
Don't tell me that you guys are. Don't tell me that you guys already know, though.
I mean, yeah, I know you brought in players. Yes, we know that you've been collaborating to bring in players. We've known that already.
How did you guys know? Because me and Good Bad kept it a secret for so long, though.
You talking about prior to the Good Bad agency?
Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that we had a club? Did you guys know that we were actually recruiting the people?
Yes.
How did you guys know? How did you guys know? Wait, how did you guys know?
Where do you think the name Good Bad Agency came from?
Well, yeah, no, I
because
know
he
it
was
came.
bringing players in.
I
That's
know it was
that's
from, but I'm talking about from the very beginning because Good Bad Agency just happened. This is all before though.
no,
But it was
no,
all
no,
but it was all
Nintendo. This
before though.
Good
Good
Bad
Bad Agency
Agency's
was
been around for a while, man. It has been a while around for a while. It's Good Bad would go into the stream and then say, hey, I introduced this, I brought this player, I brought XX, I brought this person in, right? And I say, wow, I said I'll stream one day. I say, oh wow, you must got a Good Bad Agency. It must be the Good Bad Agency. And then we've been saying that for months. It's been
well,
months.
I know it's been for months, but this is actually before though, like how it all started, like how it all
Oh, the
like
origin. So we got to
the
okay. So we're going
origins.
back
Yeah.
even
So,
further.
so
All
we're
right, let's
going
go
back
back
even
even further.
so we're going back even further before the Good Bad
Okay.
Agency because so Good Bad just always wanted to let everybody know that we were enemies, and he wanted everybody to think that we hate each other and I suck and things like that. And we've actually got into like some pretty heated arguments about it, which are actually kind of funny now. Now that I like actually think about it, it's hilarious that we actually just fought over something so stupid. But yeah, we're basically like good friends. I mean, we're gonna argue with each other no matter what. But the whole origins of it was that we were actually recruiting people for our club, but also telling them about Untamed Gaming if they wanted to be part of a tournament, things like that, before the Good Bad Agency. So that's kind of like what the truth was, because I don't think everybody knew that I was kind of part of it with Good Bad. Like we were friends. And I know Good
You
Bad is probably like, probably like stumping his toe right now. Like, why are you telling everybody that we're friends or whatever? But I mean, it's the truth. We really are good friends.
I know that he brought you in. I know that he brought you into the Untamed Gaming Discord. I know that. And you came in. He brought in a couple of other players, right? But if we're gonna go beyond that, I think I may have asked this, like the original, like 'cause Good Bad's been around for a while. Like he's been around since the Street Fighter Five days in
Yeah.
Untamed Gaming.
Hmm.
So if we're talking super origin story, like frame one origin story, unless you guys were doing that like since the release of six, unless he's been doing that since the release of six, I don't think it's recent. I don't think that's more recent. I feel like I don't know if he did it around that time when the game first came out, and
Yeah.
if he did,
So,
then yeah, that's
yeah,
beyond that.
I would say it was around the time, the beginning of it all, because I mean, that's how we met. I never knew who Good Bad Brother was until, until he came up to me and he asked me, hey, do you want to be part of a tournament? And then it just went from there. I guess he brought me in and he just saw something in me that was just like, you know what, I want you to be part of it. And that was just it. We did it early. Early. I mean, I had my own club also. I had my own club that had like I think 76 players, and he didn't want to join it because Good Bad hates clubs. He hates them with a passion, and I mean, that's just how he was in the beginning.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the truth bombshell that you had to drop there,
I mean,
just to let everybody know that you and Good Bad have been collaborating with bringing new players into Untamed Gaming. Correct?
yes, that's
That
correct.
that is correct. Okay. All right. Well, I thought there may have been a little something extra there, but you know what? We are very thankful. I am very thankful, for sure, for you guys. You guys have been, keeping the Discord active. You've been keeping the community members engaged, which is great. I love to see. I know I mess with you sometimes, but I'm glad you don't take it personal. And I do think that one day you thought I didn't like you. I don't know where that came from. I said, huh?
Actually,
I was
Good
like,
Bad
why would
actually put.
Nukendo? I was like, why would Nukendo think I didn't like him? That's weird. Why would
No,
you?
it's
What?
just the way that I literally think I'm like, man, this guy doesn't like me. I guess like I should just like hide and go into my shell.
Oh, I'm all about expression and creativity, man. Like I feel like there needs to be more. Unfortunately, there is only one Nintendo. We don't have another Nintendo unless if we do have one and you two interact, it'll be the funniest thing ever. So maybe one day we will get another person with a similar energy to Nintendo. But yeah, yeah, you a good bad. Yeah, we do appreciate. I like that, man, because it makes people watch and see what's going to happen next, and they decide to enter the tournament. We even got people who might not even stay in the game at the moment. But the fact that you guys are being so interactive and bringing in the newer players and talking in the Discord and communicating, it makes them want to enter, right? We had a
Yeah.
perfect example of that last week, where someone said they thought about playing, and then Good Bad had encouraged them to do so. I mean, they ducked, but the fact that they didn't like the game, but the fact that they interacted and said they wanted to play was kind of a telltale sign that yeah, there is a lot of social activity going on. Even though I might not like the game, the fact that you guys have an active player base, I want to be a part of that. I want to be like that because before it was quiet. I will say that. I will give credit where credit is due. It was very quiet in the Discord. Rarely anybody talked and typed. So the fact that you guys brought that energy in there and you're making people who don't really even talk like that, right? That's good. I think that's a very good thing, and I hope you guys keep that up for sure. Because some of the names that I see, I was like, well, this person don't ever type anything. This person don't ever say anything. But when you guys are around, that's when they start being active. So I think that's a key ingredient in making sure people are being engaged is having that type of social factor. So
Yeah.
yes, kudos. Good.
And that's
Yes. W
that's the whole
W
beauty.
Nukendo, W good bad.
Yeah.
Yes, good job.
That's the whole
Good job.
beauty of Street Fighter Six, though. I just feel like it just brought a community together that I never knew anything about. Because for a while, even during COVID, I always wanted to be part of something, and I actually kind of was part of like a group on Facebook. But they were kind of like they were always talking bad amongst each other. They were always just so like drama filled. And I got out of there, and yeah, I just always wanted to just be part of something like just something normal, something positive. And yeah, I mean, I we just went with it, me, good, bad, and it just all fell into place. So I'm really like thankful that my friendship with good, bad, put me in such a positive outlook on a community. And just being part of something it's just great. It's just a great thing. It's a great feeling. It makes me feel like I have something to look forward to when I actually like interact with people, even if they're from all around the world. It's just it's a blessing. So I consider it a blessing to know people, and it's a blessing to actually get to show my skills, even though like I lose a lot, like I said. But it's great. It's a great feeling, and it's a great community that we're part of.
Thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you've contributed, to the growth and development of that. But that's what it's about, like, keeping that engagement going and, being welcoming to players who are looking to find a home similar to you guys, like how you guys found a home with us. And, hopefully we'll get more players in to try to keep them around. And that's what we kind of look for. We want to get these new faces. That's why I always like really adamant with Jacob about putting the new players on there. Like if I see a name in a bracket and I haven't, I've never seen this name before, I immediately tell Jacob, put this person on the screen, put this person on the screen, this person, this person, this person. Even at exhibitions, you try to encourage people to play. Some of them might get stage fright, and I've seen it before where they say, "Oh well, yeah, I don't know, I might lose," and someone has to lose. That's the point of the. Someone has to lose. It happens. What happens is you come back the next week and you just keep following up. I mean, I've seen so many players start all the way down in platinum, and now they're mastering. So, they've been growing and getting stronger and stronger over time, and it's because of that consistent engagement that we're offering for it. So, yeah, the community's pretty open, man. We just need to get the people in here, and hopefully they stay, and hopefully good bad doesn't chase them away. Isn't that right, good bad
Yeah.
or good bad? There you go. All right, but
he's
yeah,
such a little shit.
good bad making that one ton player retire. I hope y'all apologize. Well, no, not y'all. I mean, good bad. I hope you apologize to that person and bring him back. Damn, he's a villain, and I know he's doing a little Patrick Star meme right now with the fire in the background. But regardless, though, man, I definitely do appreciate you for joining us here, Nukendo, for this episode. So before we close out the show today, is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
uh yeah, just give a shout out to like my club, and just to give a shout out to a special player also. Can I do that?
Sure.
Okay. I want to thank everyone from Godlike Player, me and Good Bad's, club. We love you guys. We love that you're part of our friendship, our kinship. We just love playing with you guys. Love training with y'all. Love having team battles with y'all, and we love engaging with y'all. I know things have been quiet right now, but things will pick up. I promise. And the special shout out I want to give is to Stilo Youngster. Stilo, I know you're going through a lot of health issues right now. I really am praying for you, brother. I hope that, I hope that you get better. I hope that you recover, and that way you can actually keep playing with us, keep being with us. And I just, like Marissa says, I give you all my love. Take all of it. And that's pretty much it.
Wow, wow, that was very deep, man. Recovery to Steel Langston for that situation. But we're gonna go ahead and close out the episode here for today. Sir Retro, do we have any ads going down?
Give me 1 second. Let me update the ads and stuff. Take these off. Okay. So we got so far coming up this upcoming weekend. For those who are in the area, in the Georgia area, MomoCon is happening for sure. Definitely going to have Street Fighter 6 featured, along with Tekken 7, Guilty Gear, Rivals of Ether 2, and Fatal Fury. But there's also, of course, Smash tournaments, Mario Kart, Splatoon, and Mario Party tournaments. And they put money in these tournaments too. So, which is really entertaining to see. So if you're in the Georgia area, there's the MomoCon, one of the biggest cons and one of the biggest cons in Atlanta, or in the state rather. So definitely come out there this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, if you're free, from Thursday to Sunday. And I think they have the schedule up and ready because the start GG for MomoCon. So definitely look it up, and you'll be able to find it. I'll be there. I'll be actually working a booth there, where I'll be able to host my own gaming shenanigans. So I might have casual setups for everything, and might run side tournaments and stuff. So hey, you guys want to come through my booth and play some games and chill, hang out, feel free to do so. But of course,
All right.
next is, I know we skipped Combo Breaker. This is following the same weekend, but I know most of the Georgia people, the viewers tuning in, are pretty much are here, and they're going to go to MomoCon. But shout out to Combo Breaker as well. Good luck to those who do go and hear, who are listening into this. Hope you guys enjoy there. Of course, next month is back at Orlando is the CEO 15. 15 years of this amazing series that has been a big focus on the wrestling aesthetics, which has been really cool. So excited to see it back in Orlando after being gone from there and been in Daytona for some time. So is that a beautiful resort I saw? Many of our players are already booking. They booked their tickets and everything. They're discussing the flights and driving and this, that, and third. So good luck to our homies going out there. Good luck to anyone else in the area or in the state, the country, in the world who's also going out to CEO. Hope you have a great time. Also, go by the beach and stuff if it's nice out there, and go explore Orlando Universal Studios and Disney World if you can in between. So yeah, good luck, good luck. I'll be watching. I cannot make it, unfortunately, but I'll be watching. And of course, this is a big news, but then not so big, not surprising, because seeing how they've been doing, I'm excited for this to see this happen again. So you can just let Shadow Ace to explain a little bit more. Maybe I had no details yet, but just tell us about Max Mode coming back.
And the past 2 years have been amazing for this event for Maximo, but they'll be back again in 2026 for Maximo 3. We'll have more acts, of course, more players, newer games, fantastic events. It's they had a variety of different vendors, booths, artist alleys. There they had like they had a mahjong table there too as well. So they have a good variety of different activities that they will post up once the registration link goes live for the 2026. You want to try to sign up and get in as quickly as possible because being at the venue, having the godlike parking spot is top tier. I will say that having that one special parking spot where you could just like get there, you're immediately to your room. Like it's like maybe a few steps and you're right there already at the elevator to go to your room is an amazing feeling. So definitely a wonderful area. They have a lot of different restaurants to try out, variety of different cuisines too as well, like Ethiopian, Caribbean, like Japanese, Korean, like just all different types of delicacies in the area to check out for spots too as well. So once the registration goes live for the Maxwell 3 2026, we'll be posting that information here and talking about that a little bit further once more details come in.
Cool beans. Yep, that's all the announcements I have gotten.
All right. Well, with that being said, I definitely do once again appreciate Nukendo for coming out and hanging out with us for season 4, episode 14. Um, season episode 15, I will say, will probably be like the season finale event because this will be like it'll probably be like the podcast before season 3 kicks off officially, and then that can bring us into like a fresh new possible season 5. We'll see. The sky's the limit at this point. But again, we do want to encourage people to try to get onto the podcast and tell us your story. Let the world hear who you are, share your experiences for sure. And it's so I do appreciate everybody there because like a lot of people's journeys and what they go through is different. Like a lot of their scenarios are different, but we all are united under one roof to try to like press some buttons. So again, it's very interesting to see and hear these particular stories go down. But with that being said, um, Nikenda, where can the good people find you at?
Good people can find me on Twitter. You guys can follow my Twitter. It's at Nukendo Gaming. You guys can follow my YouTube also. Although I just don't post, but you can also just talk with me on Discord. I mean, I'm on there on the Street Fighter 6 Discord. If anybody wants to be part of our club, let us know. We always have tryouts for like actually like getting you in the club. But yeah, I mean, people can find me Twitter, YouTube, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Twitter is my main thing. If you guys are gonna contact me on Twitter, let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Discord also.
All right. And then, Sir Retro, where can the good people find you?
Of course, virtually anywhere on social media. Of course, I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Sir Retro08. Of course, on Discord as well. You can hit me up at any point in time. If you can, I'll try my best to respond. I think even Google me, you may find me at this point. Excuse me. But yeah, that's pretty much. I'm all over. So for sure.
All right. And you guys can catch me on the Twitterverse at Mind of Shadow Ace here once this podcast episode is archived. Um, Retro will get that live link up after some few edits to make sure the production quality is even more amazing with the HQ quality version of the episode. Normally he'll have that up by 12 noon next business day, so it's that Monday. But if not, if there is a delay, maybe that Tuesday. But he will try to get that up and going for you guys. If you're just tuning in pretty late to that podcast and you missed out on the hour or so, do not worry. This will be added into that playlist for season 4. 14 episodes for this season. That is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot of hours, and time and different people that we've talked to over this journey. But we're gonna keep it going, man. Keep the energy flowing. Once again, thank you, Nikendo, for talking with us and sharing your experiences. Shout out to everybody in the chat. too as well, who are tuning into the live broadcast, talking and making the interactions happen. But we're out of the door. GG's, safe, take care.